Guys, check out the recent growth of this client. We basically went from 0 to 9.3 thousand monthly organic clicks, all in the span of 8 months. And now take note of this other client that's quite a lot further along. And these guys are basically doing 1 million yearly clicks, around 80,000 clicks a month. Now, what do both of these websites have in common, and how can we apply this to your website? Let's dive in. So the first thing is consistency in content. And for these websites, we're specifically talking about blog content. Now, these websites will average 1 blog post published per week, so not that much content. So this content is long form with at least 1,500 words that is very heavily optimized for featured snippets. We can actually check this out on Ahrefs here for this smaller client. We're gonna see how many featured snippets. Again, take note of the little quotes here. Those are featured snippets that this website is ranking for. And again, not small keywords here, 2.3 thousand in monthly volume, not bad. A lot of featured snippets coming in. Highly recommend still optimizing your content for featured snippets. Now, an interesting thing about this bigger traffic website, in the last 28 days, they've done around 80,000 clicks. But if we actually scroll down to the pages, we're gonna see that these top 4 pages, if we do some quick math, they're basically responsible for more than half of the traffic that's coming in on a monthly basis. So what does that tell me? Number one, we don't have to publish an insane amount of content to get to these traffic numbers, right? Number 2, keyword research is more important than ever. Understanding where you can and where you can't rank is what can often determine the success of your content. Now, the second thing these guys have in common is that they have experts creating or in some way interacting with their content. Now, most of the time, what I'll do is I'll head straight to Upwork when I have a new client, and I'll try and find an expert for that specific niche. And I've found doctors, lawyers, nutritionists, fitness experts, the list goes on, all on Upwork that have helped me in some way interact and improve the content that's being created. And this is obviously important for EAT. We've covered this plenty of times on the channel, but honestly, with the rise of AI, guys, there's gonna be a lot of people that are gonna be using these one-click AI content generation tools. They're just gonna copy and paste straight into WordPress and just publish it without even reviewing and making sure that the content is actually valuable. To be honest, I'm actually one of those people. I'm currently running an experiment where I'm using a bunch of these different AI tools to see which one works best. So guys, it's essential to make sure that you have someone who really understands your niche and is an expert in all the things that you're talking about to write, review, or edit your content, guys. Your customers and your users that are going to be landing on your website are going to notice the difference in value. The third thing that both of these websites have in common is quite interesting because neither of these websites do any active link building, and instead what they do is focus on link bait. And link bait is just a fancy way of saying that they create content that is made to attract backlinks. Now, link bait can come in a lot of different shapes and sizes, and I've actually covered a lot of these tactics in my SEO strategy breakdown playlist, where I take a look at a lot of the traffic heavy websites that are using these types of strategies, and they do extremely well. You can find that playlist right here. So one example is creating free tools, and Shopify is an expert at doing this. If we actually go to shopify.com/tools, you're gonna see they have a pretty significant number of free tools that they've created to help people start a business online. And this makes a lot of sense, guys. If people see value in a free tool, they're gonna be sharing it with their friends, with their family, maybe posting it on their website, and as a result, you'll get a backlink in return. And if we actually check out the top pages of Shopify on Ahrefs, we're gonna see that in the top 3, we have one of the tools, the business name generator, a bunch of referring domains, shares on Twitter, and shares on Pinterest. But now, we don't always have to create a free tool, since this can actually be quite technically challenging. What you can do instead is use something like statistics. This is something that Brian Dean used and did extremely well with Backlinko. You basically create these massive SEO case studies and break them down into tiny little data snippets that people would take and plug into their blog posts, and as a result, have a backlink pointing back to Backlinko. One last link bait strategy that I've seen work quite well is basically using an ego boost to help someone link back to you. Now, this is something that TripAdvisor does extremely well. They have their traveler's choice section, so they have their best of the best restaurants, hotels, and so on. And as a result, if you're a restaurant owner and you end up on this list, you're gonna have a huge incentive to show your potential customers how well you're doing by showing that you've landed on this page. And if we actually go on Ahrefs, we're gonna see that their second top content is that specific page. So that traveler's choice, again, lots of referring domains, Twitter shares, and Pinterest shares. And the last thing I want to talk to you guys about, and I personally think it's the cherry on top, is internal linking. And I'm a big believer in making sure that you know where the internal links are coming from before you even publish any page, any post on your website. So every single page that you publish on your website should be accounted for, right? I may be spending 1, 2, or 3 weeks working, revising, and editing a piece of content content. So every single piece of content has to work and has to get traffic. Internal linking is an essential part of the success of that equation. Now, there's not a lot of things on this list, guys, but we have to do these things extremely well. Let me know your thoughts, and I'll see you guys in the next one.